Om Vasudev Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. And presently, we are in the 18th verse. Prior to this verse, in the 16th and 17th verses, Lord Krishna gave insight into the nature of the self by using two special Sanskrit words, Sat and Tat. The Atma, the self within you, is Sat. To think again, it is Tat. Sat means absolute existence. Implications of that term. You must realize that spiritual teachings are given to you by words. Words enter your ears. But that's just the beginning. How do you understand those words? And what type of insight enters deep within your heart? That's where the subtlety of teaching lies. So when we say Sat, it all means existence. Does that inspire you? Not much. When you say Sat Sangha, good association of Sat, that type of association that will strip your mind of all that is Asat, all that is false. Your understanding that when we say Asat, you are referring to a world filled with darkness. When we're referring to Sat, sun is shining. Move away from Asat, come to Sat. Move away from all things that don't exist. They are unreal. Your dream doesn't exist. Therefore, move away from your dream, wake up. To give you such simple illustration. Therefore, any movement towards that which inspires you, in brief, it is a Godward movement, that is Sat Marga, a path leading to God realization, a path leading to revelation of who am I, a path leading to realization that I am absolute existence. All the time, everyone is harassed by troubles, turmoils. I am is always shaking. Will I be the same tomorrow? Who knows? But to have a profound grip that I am is just the same, this like sky. Is the sky going to be shaken by clouds? No. So far it has not been shaken. And suppose the clouds are extremely difficult type, will the sky be shaken? No. Such is your reality. Deep down, that's what you are. But how to lead you from ego identity to the reality? That's what the problem is. And that's where all teachings are needed. Ego identity is a disease called bhava vyadhi, disease of the world process. Ego is a kind of a big tumor. And spiritual teaching is egodictomy. And when we say ego, you should have also proper understanding. You can't live without ego even for a single moment. But you can understand the quality of your ego. Tamasic ego, ego that is just drawn to negative things of the world, called malas, anger, greed, hate, desires of perverted nature, delusion and jealousy. All these are called malas. Ego that wants to be always gripped with malas, like a big creature. That ego is tamasic. Rajasic ego, not so much of the malas, but Rajasic ego doesn't have any clear direction. It's led by lots of distractions, vanities, shallow values. These two aspects of the ego, they are called asuri, demoniac. Ego that becomes sattvic, ego that moves towards satsanga, good as aspiration for realization, ego that makes you interested in discovering who am I, and does not obscure the real I am. And still it stays very strong. It's just like a strong crystal, but transparent. Ego is there, powerful ego in you. But ego that is so transparent that no matter what you do, you don't interpret it in the terms of ego. People praise you and say, who did it? Not me. God. And ego is transparent, then the reality shines forth. Because ego never accomplishes anything. Ego simply jumps up saying, I am the one who did it. So, when we say the self is Sat, that's what you are Sat. Then all this, what I have explained, is implied. It is a joyous revelation. It is a movement towards all that is wonderful. Not to be gripped by malas, gross impurities. To have the experience of the immense glory of God. The entire world is inundated by that glory. And if you have even a little touch of that Sat, it brings a tremendous change in your personality. Satsangatve nihasangatvam. You get that touch of Sat when you come into Satsanga, or listening to teachings explained to you in a way that touches your heart. If you are touched by Satsanga, the result will be nihasangatvam. Nihasangatvam means you will feel like the sky, unaffected by circumstances and situations. You will feel profoundly positive, endowed with immense faith. Nisangatve nirmohatvam, as that inward mystic detachment develops. You will not be inclined to have a distorted intellect that goes on telling you everything is ruined. All that you are doing is useless. A mind that has been drawn to negativity. That's called moha, delusion. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam. If you don't have that moha, there is constant awareness of a sense of eternity, immortality within your heart. I am, that am I. And that's what you are working for. That's your goal. That's called Jivan Mukti, liberation in life. Now I'm coming to the present verse, 18th verse. Antavanta ime deha nityasokta sharirina anashino aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. O Bharata, Arjuna has different names. Bha is knowledge, shining knowledge, intuitive knowledge. Rata, devoted to that knowledge. And it relates to all aspirants. Every soul is Bharata. Because what else the soul will ultimately be satisfied with? Not with the darkness. In darkness lies sorrows. Move away from sorrows to sunshine. Sunshine is the bha, illuminosity. Who would like to be drawn to sunshine instead of being caught with the mist, swirling mist of confusion with little smoke blended with it. O Bharata, the self is eternal. Nitya, term Nitya. Nitya means ever the same, ever unchanging. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Unchanged. Nitya. Eternal. And Anashina. Imperishable. Human body is called Sharira. It has two names. Sharira means that which goes on perishing. Shiryate. That which goes on degenerating, perishing, and goes through destruction. It's also known as Deha, Dahyate. That which goes on burning. You don't believe it? Ask the thermometer. There is always some temperature you have to maintain. That's I'm making a joke, but the idea is your body is constantly being consumed. If that is not there, there will be no metabolic function. And again, another point, when we talk of body, it is not just your physical body. Physical body is changing. It is bound to perish. The body you were born in, that body is gone long, long ago. Within 6-7 years, your whole body undergoes a tremendous change. So the body changes. It's being consumed. The next body we talk about is subtle body. Mind, intellect, senses, ego, all together is subtle body. That subtle body also is changing. Your thinking process is not just the same. Your feelings are not the same. Your values are not the same. Things go on changing. So much so that you will be surprised. Was it me whose thoughts are written down on this page? And of course, I'm giving you only example of one life. if you could think of how many lives you have gone through, even within this life, your mind and subtle body is under change. And it is bound to be eliminated completely. The rehearsal of elimination is there in deep sleep. Your subtle body is transcended. You are no longer working with your ego. Otherwise, during sleep, you will be constantly aware, how much have I slept? Etc. And your causal body, causal is hard to understand, deep unconscious, that holds the source, that is the source of subtle body and the physical body. That causal body also undergoes changes. All the three bodies, physical, sthul sharir, subtle, called sukshma sharir, causal, karan sharir, all these are changing. And change is described in a figurative way. All is decaying. They are in the realm of decay, like clouds decay, or in the realm of burning. When we focus on burning, that the bodies are called deha. Deha. And when we think of constant change occurs into it, called sharira. So the verse says, O Bharata, the self is eternal, but these bodies which inhabit the embodied soul are perishable. Now we have to understand the difference between embodied soul and the soul. The soul is Paramatma, the Supreme Self. Embodied soul is Jivatma, the individual self. Paramatma, the Supreme Self, is like the sun, alone, one, shining effulgent. Embodied souls, they are countless. Sun reflecting in so many jars of water. Jars I'm giving just for simple illustration. Sun reflecting in water in so many ways, countless reflections. All reflected suns are the jivas, jivatma. So first your attention is directed towards jivatma within you. You are not the body, you are the soul. This much insight, if you have gained that in itself, you have made a big leap. Because as a soul, you are not going to perish. You cannot be rejected in the cosmic scheme of things. The sun has no power to throw you out, separate you. That point is also important to hold in your mind, that God is described as omnipotent. He has immense power, there is nothing impossible for him. But in one area that is not true. God cannot dispel any soul, because that soul is a ray of God. Again, this was dramatized in the story of Akbar Birbal, and I will, for you, to make it entertaining, I will tell you that again. Birbal was a Hindu counselor for Akbar, and attendants of Akbar, those who were close to Akbar, they were very jealous of Birbal. But Birbal was wise, and he gave profound teachings to Akbar in a very humorous way. And Akbar was very drawn to Birbal. One day they plotted. They were always thinking, how can they let this Birbal move away or let him lose his neck. So created a plot. They sent Birbal to a little work, and Birbal was away. And then, finding the king alone, they started saying that, "O king, in this Hindu India, Hindus worship so many gods, and those gods don't help them. They're just statues. If they were to worship you, you are already helping them. You are their life force." Akbar wanted to be well recognized and famous. So they knew that. They were counting upon that. In brief, ask all these Hindu priests to install you in their temples as one of the gods, if not the god. If they do the god, then better still. Right at that time, Birbal comes in. And Akbar, his head has been swollen by this time. Oh, what a wonderful advice. Why didn't somebody give me that before? He turns to Birbal and says, "And Birbal, what do you think of this? I am doing good to people. They have direct contact with me. Am I not God? These people are worshipping so many gods and they don't listen to them. But I am here, alive, full of vitality. If raise a finger and I will make them free of all miseries. And what a great thing it will be. Generations will remember how Akbar became God." And he turned India into a golden country. Birbal scratched his head a little and said, "Not so, my lord. I don't agree with it." Now that's what they were expecting, that he will say no, and Akbar's sword will fall on his neck. But Akbar asks. He was stunned because always Birbal said things that were pleasing to him. He was stunned. He said, "Birbal, what do you say?" "No, why?" He made them all suspense. It's like I'm making you into suspense. And then he said, "No, you are greater than God." Akbar said, they were all stuck. All they wanted him to be God, just in the temple. "You are greater than God." And Akbar asked, "Explain that to me. How am I greater than God? I'm happy to be just the God." And Birbal said, "If someone commits a crime in your country, you can banish him from your country forever. But in God's country, if anybody commits a crime, anybody does wrong deeds, God has no power to banish him because his kingdom is limited. Where can he throw him out of his kingdom? So I say you are greater than God." Everybody became stunned. They never raised that question again. of installing him as a God. Simple point that your soul is linked to God, is a ray of God. And therefore, first try to understand the ray aspect within you. That's the Jivatma, the soul. And as your mind goes on working upon the ray aspect, you come to the bigger leap from reflected sun to the sun. In fact, there are three attitudes towards God, which I always repeat. Rama asks Hanuman, how am I related? Hanuman says, Deha buddhyatu dasoham. As long as you view yourself, I am the body, always remember that you are an instrument in divine hand. You are a slave of God. God is the master. And your body and all things are moving by God's plan. That's the predominant view or mantra in the level of doing karmas, actions. Secret of karma yoga. Now, when you turn your attention to your mind, jiva buddhya tvadanshaka, from the point of view of your soul, you are a ray. And God is like the sun. And when we say turning your attention to the soul means self-reflecting in the mind. That's what soul is. Being a ray of God implies you have all that potentiality to develop highest of virtues, and there is no limit in it. No matter how crude you might have been, you can turn towards God and become absolutely transformed. All religions have talked about how worst of sinners can become saints, and they have been. And that's a potentiality in every individual. Jiva buddhya tvadanshaka. And that you need to go on working day by day. Don't allow yourself to be gripped by a lesser type of association that keeps your mind just confused with irritations, frustrations. But allow your mind to have space. Allow your mind to get charged with mantra, japa, prayer. Allow your mind to relax, do yoga exercises, catch hold of the nose. And create a rhythmic balance in everyday life. A rhythmic living. Time to wake up, time to do certain things, time for breakfast, time for all types of things that are needed to be done day by day. And Atma Buddhya Tavaivaham. Go back to the highest level. I am nothing but the sun. When that revelation comes, then the sun is alone, one without a second. Countless reflections, they are nothing but the sun. So even when you are moving towards that realization, I am the sun, your mind has to also handle I am shining in all these jars. Just as I am dear to myself, all these are also dear to myself. Cosmic love becomes automatic if you begin to understand your I am the sun. The movement towards that realization, I am the sun, opens a window to cosmic love. Certain attributes of the Atman have been brought out in this verse. Nityam, The Atma, the self, is eternal. Anashinam, Atma is indestructible. All things are destroyed. All things that exist in time and space, they are destructible. But beyond time and space, the world of time and space is Maya, illusion. Transcending the world of time and space, that's the reality. Indestructible, immutable, unchanging. For practical illustration, the sky. Clouds go on changing, the sky remains the same. Pictures go on changing, the screen is the same. Waves go on changing, ocean is the same. For simple way to understand. Therefore, prepare to fight. Now that statement triggers many thoughts. Arjuna is being told, according to the setup of the Mahabharata story, Arjuna is in a battlefield. He and his associates and a big army, they are fighting against Duryodhana, Kauravas, who are the embodiments of forces of darkness, Asuri Shakti, demoniac. On one side is the divine qualities, divine forces, forces of light. On the other side, forces of darkness. And Arjuna is there. His chariot is being led by Krishna. Krishna is God, Arjuna is the soul. That's a highly metaphorical setting which applies to every individual. It's not a history that once upon a time that was. You are in a battlefield, and you have been battling by hook or by crook. Now, set up an organized battle under the guidance of Krishna. Don't think of anything else. Don't think of the perishable body. Don't think of the perishable senses, mind, intellect. Don't get gripped by these. Now, what I'm leading to understand, battle is of two types. One is a simple fact of life. You live. Why do you live? Because the higher self in you must conquer the lower self. That, and overall, a battle continues, a broader form of battle. Another battle, in your practical life, every human being has a field of action. You are born and you have inherited a stream of action, things that have been in the past, things that you have to do to promote a future. This Hindi word is pravaha patita karma. Just like you are born at the bank of a river. So each day you look at the river, you don't look at the river the same river. You don't take bath in the same river. Figure that out. The river is constantly flowing. Each day you wake up and the river of karma is flowing. It's same setup of karma action that was yesterday is not the same today, even though the things may look like this. You should not complain against this flow because you have no choice. If you complain, you are just wasting your energy. Get involved in your karma. Don't run away from it. This is your battle. Estoy luchando. Fight. In Latin culture, life is a battle. and that's perfectly in harmony with the Gita. Now you should understand what stops you from fighting. Of course, what stops you from fighting is moha, delusion, shoka and moha, mind experiencing grief and experiencing deluded way of looking at things. Now, first point to understand, that self that is your essential nature, that self that's like the shining sun, how are you going to realize I am that? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Upanishadic statement says, the mind and speech, they make a trip to find God, describe God. But they turn their backs. They can't reach God. In other words, no matter how great you are, your speech cannot grab the reality of God. All your descriptions can say He is Sat, He is Satchidananda, He is this or that. All your descriptions are limited. Then come to another level. Don't use words. Use your mental concept. Mauna, in silence. Let your mind capture God. It won't capture it. Your mind in turn will be captured by the devil, the darkness. Is there then any way out? Yes. Shastra, Acharya Upadesh, Shamadamash Sanskritam Mana Atma Darshane Karanam. Turn to teachings given by teachers, spiritual teacher. Teachings that are promoted by scripture, shastras. So shastra is scripture, teacher. But while gaining the teachings, practice shama, dhamma, and various qualities that we have described. Because if those qualities are not developing in you, the teaching will remain just intellectual. That you will stay with theory. You know the wonderful recipes, but will never have the real delicate food. When a mind referring to the total mind, when the mind has been well cultured by spiritual teaching, by Guru's guidance, by developing these qualifications, then the very same mind-intellect set develops an intuitive capacity to reveal the I am. Until then, your mind and intellect, etc., they turn away from that they have no capacity to bring God within their realm. And another point, the statement, Yudhyasva, O Arjuna, fight. Statement is just to bring you the understanding that if you did not have the obstruction within you, the negative obstruction, you will be fighting. Every tree will go on growing. Every soul will go on evolving. That's this simple reality of evolution, blossoming. That's what we mean by fight. Go on breaking the barriers. Bring out the petals. waft the fragrance, capture the forest, invade the world by your fragrance. That's battle enough. So therefore, the scriptural teaching is giving you a little stick on the head. Yuddhasva, fight. Wake up, arise. As you begin to remove the impurities of your heart, you will automatically flow into the world without your feeling that you are doing something so great. But again, the message is that everyone doesn't feel that you are being led in a very spontaneous way in a joyous world. Everybody doesn't feel. Why? Because mind has developed some negative habits. The habit of keeping itself distracted. The habit of keeping itself drawn to wrong association. The habit of having a defective memory. All these negative, what's called malas and vikaras, impurities, now we have to be intent upon going on removing them gradually. They can't be removed all at once. But intent upon changing your style of life, moving your mind into a positive direction, discovering a deeper support. And all that must begin. As they begin, you should not say, oh, that will take a long time. Once you are on the right course, your movement is joyous. A bud is about to blossom, or a tree brings out a bud, which will blossom in time. Once the process goes on, everything will come spontaneous. Nowhere there will be a kind of painful complaint. How long have I been in this forest? When will the flowers come and when will the fruit come? Trees don't have that stress. Much in the same way, when your life has become a flow of spiritual insight and practice, sadhana, then automatically you know you are going to blossom. And every movement, every day, gives you a joyous experience. Ya edam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhautau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. Those who consider the self as the killer and those who think that it is killed, both are ignorant. For the self neither kills nor is killed. Term kill and killed is only allegorical term. Because human mind, the worst thing happens is described in the term of killing. But what it implies is situations, circumstances, they go on changing in life. And everyone begins to blame someone. And the deep sorrow enters when you find yourself culprit. And there again, mind being limited. Say, for example, in a family, you have brought out a child who is extremely abnormal, or a child that has inherited a disease that belongs to either mother or father. The parents constantly grieve. Why did I give this disease to the child? What wrong the child did to me? I'm elaborating it. That's the word. People suffer from so many types of sorrows in their mind, for which they are not responsible, for which they have nothing to do with it. Try to understand all the sorrow, sadness, pain, all the complaints, they come from mind. And they are superimposed upon the self. At soul level, you are not the body. You should not be just at the soul level. Soul level means a sense of immortality. You are not limited by the body. But come to the absolute level, soul of the soul. That's what Gita's intention is. First pointing to you, you are an eternal, immortal soul. You have gone through many bodies. Bodies have changed, but the soul remains the same. Second point, that soul is the Son, the absolute self. So don't think of the sequence, start asserting, I am the eternal self. Don't keep yourself involved with constantly the idea what mind gives to you, based on ego. Always thinking about things I should have done, things I didn't do, negative things, all the sinful karmas are after me. And with the knowledge that there have been many lives, that the mountain load of karmas are behind me. All that relates to the mind, conditioned mind, not the self. So how to understand that you are different from the body, different from the vital sheath, different from the mind, different from the intellect? That movement has to enter your heart. And that movement enters into your heart through satsanga, through your sadhana, through your integral yoga. It doesn't enter into your heart by just simple few lessons of who is the Atman, what are the 5 sheaths. All that is also important. The self neither kills nor is killed. Karmas, actions and their fruits, they don't touch the self. Just like clouds and what the clouds do, they rain, they don't touch the sky. Much in the same way, the real I am is absolutely untouched by karmas, actions, absolutely untouched by desires, absolutely free of all types of ignorance. Avidya, kama, karma. Ignorance, desire, action, these keep the soul knotted in a state of bondage. But the soul, the Atma, the reality within you is ever free. It appears to be in bondage, but in reality it is ever free. And that's what your mind has to gradually assimilate, understand with great patience. And with this I will conclude. Om Shanti.